Today we're going to review the Higashiyama Niseko Village, a Ritz-Carlton Reserve. We'll show you around the property, food options for the area, and also some pro tips if you are here to ski or snowboard. Big favor before we dive into everything though is to give this a thumbs up to help with the algorithm. And if you are new and you like travel, then consider subscribing. As a background, this is our first stay at a Ritz-Carlton Reserve. Marriott Bonvoy has over 30 hotel brands. If the Ritz-Carlton and the St. Regis are considered the summit of the mountain, then the Ritz-Carlton Reserve is the flag on top and it's considered the distinctive ultra-luxury brand. For context, there's about 100 standard Ritz-Carltons, about 40 St. Regises, and there's only 6 Ritz-Carlton Reserves. And funny enough, before a few days ago, it was only 5. These are considered Marriott Bonvoy's crown jewels across almost 9,000 hotels and over 130 countries. The big question is whether the property can fill these shoes. In order to get to Higashiyama, you're probably flying into Tokyo and then taking a domestic flight to new Chitose Airport in Sapporo. After that, you can take a bus from the airport, rent a car, or take the train. I'd recommend taking a bus. A lot of the airport options are going to run you 5,000 yen per way, which is about 33 USD. The Ritz-Carlton Reserve does have a partner with the Niseko Village Airport Express, but that's 50,000 yen per way, so 10 times as much as some of the other shuttles. Surprisingly, outside of the confirmation number, we did not get a welcome from the concierge like we did with the Park Hyatt. Not that big of a deal, but definitely room for improvement. Since we were already in Niseko because we were at the Park Hyatt, we ended up calling a car over. Technically you can't ski over, but you might be greeted by an angry player too. If you are in Harafu, then there are shuttles to Niseko Village, the Hilton, and the Ritz, but it might be a pain if you did overpack like we did. The moment we got to the hotel, the staff helped with our luggage, and the arrival team was awesome here. We ended up getting seated by the fireplace for check-in and had welcome drinks. This is definitely an intimate romantic hotel with a great vibe. I'm personally a huge fan of the fireplace and the bookshelf. Also, any hotel that can pass for a nice cozy lounge is a win. Hey guys, it's Sebastian, and today we're going to do a tour of the Ritz-Carlton Niseko. This is a pretty comprehensive room, but let's take a look at my favorite part first. So if you come over here, right in here is going to be the bathtub. It's super unique though because it's pretty much made like an onsen. So it has the same onsen vibes with the square and the stone, and also the bucket and the little chair. The idea being that you're kind of enjoying the hot water over here and then washing up over there. In addition, one super unique part is that this room is actually a lot colder than the rest of the room. In here, I guess it's about like 40 degrees, maybe 50 degrees. It feels like you're kind of almost outside. Not as bad, but it's that weird in between. So a bit colder in here, which makes it feel like you are in an onsen. Okay, let's come over here to look at my second favorite part of the room. Here we have an assortment of drinks from alcoholic to sodas to just water. Normally we don't like to touch the minibar because it tends to be expensive and not really worth it, but here it is part of the room rate. We have some Japanese cola, Pepsi, sparkling water from Yamazaki, some sake, some oolong tea that we already finished off, Niseko Village water, lastly Sapporo Classic, which is only available in Hokkaido, and this is actually the good stuff. Let's give it a quick taste before we continue with the room tour. Cheers. Tastes pretty good. Brisk aroma and all malt finish. The great taste of Sapporo Classic is brewed for Hokkaido. Pretty light beer and malty. So the cool thing is that this is free and they do refill it. There are 2 refills, one during the day when you're skiing and the other one during turn-down service. You do get to select turn-down service, so for us we picked 7 p.m. Right now is 6:45, so they're probably gonna come in about 15 minutes. Minibar is down here and there is more beer, Pepsi Zero, which I probably should have gotten, and more tea. If you want something hot instead, then there are some tea options. It's green, yellow, and red. Yellow is the Kikuraki, which I have no clue what it is, but it's from Lupic Chia. There's a green one that's in Japanese. I would guess that this is the green tea. And also a second one called the Second Flush, which makes it sound like it's gonna be a darker one, like in English style. Excited to try these as well because they sound pretty good. If you are looking for something a little bit stronger, then there is coffee as well from Nespresso, or technically espressos. So a few different pods. You can probably ask for more throughout the day if you do need more, and I'm guessing they do refill it. Interestingly, there is this blue one, which is called Tokyo Lungo. Didn't know that there was a Tokyo specific one. I feel like we've seen this before, but might have been at Tokyo Hyatts. As you can tell, the room is pretty decently sized, even though it is relatively simple. Chair over here with a desk, pretty cozy setup. You have 2 sides for the bed, as you'd expect, with a lot of different settings for switches. We're gonna press a few and see what happens. Okay, pretty straightforward, pretty much all the lights. There is a TV over here. Oh, I don't think it turns. Yikes. Okay, I was trying to turn it because I thought it would turn towards the couch. Yeah, I'm gonna stop touching it. Some books here for artistic purposes, or if you want something to read. Looping back over here, and you can kind of see what I mean by cozy, is going to be the main bathroom area. You have 2 hooks. You have 1 bathrobe. There's another one in the closet. You have 2 vanities over here, pretty large, pretty nice, pretty like classic vibes to it. All the amenities are going to be from Soffies. One test I'm starting to do a bit more is the towel test. Pretty standard. On the nicer end, definitely soft, but it's not the fluffiest I've ever experienced. It's fine. Let's go over here and check out the bathroom. So this one does not open up by itself. A lot of other ones do, or maybe it's a setting that we didn't fully do, but yeah. Still though, nice to have, and for the most part, the same stuff. Coming over here is the closet. Pretty simple and straightforward, kind of a pseudo walk-in closet, lots of room to hang your stuff, and you have a safe back here. Also some pajamas you can wear. Over here, you do have a bit more room for luggage, some hooks to hang up either helmets, probably like hats and scarves and stuff. There is a separate ski area for your stuff. Here is going to be a bigger closet for jackets. We are in room 317, and most of the rooms on the floor are about the same size, except for the suites in the corner. We did just move to the Ritz from a different hotel, and I still have my ski stuff here, so I'm gonna move it downstairs to the locker, but I'll see you down there. The ski and snowboard lockers are going to be downstairs from the main lobby. Higashiyama only has 50 rooms, and it's super apparent once you get to the locker area, where it's definitely cozy. The lockers themselves are pretty sizable, and you could easily fit 2 to 3 sets of ski or snowboarding gear. There was a bit of a weird smell, but I think it's because they have these towels at the bottom that catch water, and it probably needed to be changed. There also is a rental area and a shop on the other side of this, and also a counter if you want to book lessons. We'll talk more about this on day 2, but first, let's go to dinner. On the first night, we ended up going to Niseko Village for dinner. If you are using Google Maps, be careful because it does tell you to do a giant loop, but you do not need to do this. You can pretty much just walk through, and it's pretty fast, about 5 minutes. There also is a lift system you can use that is free because it's considered a commuter one, so even if you don't have a lift ticket, you're fine. This probably saves you a minute or 2 and is ideal if you don't have snow boots. Niseko Village is a collection of restaurants and shops, and definitely feels a lot sleepier than I expected. The restaurants were packed and busy, but it's definitely not as vibrant as Hirafu. We walked by a few options and ended up settling on ramen.
It opened about a year or 2 ago, and everything's iPad based. You order off an iPad and it's automatic.
A few moments later.
Okay, appetizers are here. Let's take a look. First one is going to be karaage, which over here is pretty much just a chicken wing, freshly fried, super crispy. Burning my finger a little bit. Let's give it a taste. Really well done. I wish it was a little bit more seasoned, but otherwise perfect. Super crispy. We also ended up getting takoyaki, which are octopus fish balls. They're not really like octopus balls. It's like pretty much like fried donuts made with octopus. Let's give it a taste. Pretty good. Super fresh. I like that it's not overdone. A lot of other places, it's too doughy. It's like super creamy for me. Yeah, perfect. Last up is the whole fish, and it looks amazing. Initially, I wasn't planning to order this, but I saw it on another table, and they were saying how great it was, and it just looked amazing. So you can see that it's gigantic and in all its glory, delicious looking. It also smells amazing. Okay, let's dive into the fish and see how it tastes. First up, let's lemon it. That's pretty much just a whole giant fish that they cut in half and grilled. There is still bone on one of the sides, so you want to be careful about removing it. I'm gonna actually do the other side first, just to taste it. Ooh, super hot. Fish is really good. Maybe a little bit overdone, like a tiny bit, but otherwise amazing. Also, my ramen's here, so might as well taste it. Ooh, it is super spicy. So if you're not into spice, be careful. Noodles are awesome. Super good bounce to it. Perfectly done. I would definitely recommend this place. I think there are some items that might be maybe skip. I like the chicken wings, but I feel like there's a lot of good food. You probably don't need that one. Amazing. I would definitely recommend coming.
On day 2, we woke up early to go skiing. The locker room area can be a bit of a traffic jam, so if there are a lot of people, I'd recommend looking for the seats towards the back. Once you have everything on, you want to go outside and then go down towards the right. We're going to take the Village Express again, but instead of getting off at the midway point like we did last night, you're riding it all the way to the top. From there are going to be a lot of smaller street style runs, and as long as you maintain your speed and follow the signs, you should be fine. If you are up before 10 AM, I'd recommend skiing over to the Hilton. There probably is going to be a huge line, but this is for the Niseko gondola, and it's the main way up to the top, and in fact, technically the only way, hence the line. Once you do get up there though, the world's your oyster. Normally, this means skiing down to the Wonderland chairlift to ride up to the blacks and the reds on top. You can also work your way down to Niseko Village, or hike over to Hirafu if you don't feel comfortable on Wonderland. On our first morning on this side, Wonderland chairlift was actually closed due to high wind. There was a sign saying that if you want to go to Annupuri, you'd have to take a bus. So given this, a lot of people were hiking over to Hirafu in order to ride the Ace Pair lift. If you do have to go up this hill, it's not too bad, probably about 100 steps. It looks a lot worse than it is, so don't be intimidated. If you do choose to stay on this side and go down, then you have your choice of greens, reds, and blacks. Be careful though, because once you go down, there's not really any way to come back up other than going back to Hilton and riding all the way up again. It's not necessarily bad, but the Hilton lift can feel a bit slow, and the fact that you have to take off your skis doesn't help. Also, for me at least, there wasn't really that much that was super interesting for this top half of the resort. You pretty much need to wait until 10 AM for the Mori no chairlift to open up if you want to avoid the Hilton. If anything, this is my favorite lift given the lack of crowds, the speed, and the efficiency. It also helps that there's a ton of good runs that are accessible here. I think if you are intermediate or you're advanced, you're going to love this area. From 10 AM until noon, you have a lot of great black runs that are comparably untouched. Misushiru is really fun, and same with Yard Sale. It does get a bit mogully towards the afternoon though, so you'd want to do this early. You also can stick towards the trees if you want more fresh powder. There also is an unlisted path that a lot of people like to do. It's kind of a bowl and yeah, really fun. Good way to mix it up if you are comfortable. If you want to keep it simple, there are a lot of greens and also some reds. One benefit of this side is that it is a bit sleepier, so even for the greens, you do have more fresh powder compared to Annupuri and especially Hirafu. If you are trying to learn how to ski on powder, then this is one of the best places. Purely for skiing and assuming that you're not hiking up to the top and doing the back north runs, this is my favorite of the 4 areas. After riding the Mori no chairlift probably way too many times, we did end up going a bit late at about 2:30, and it ended up being a mistake. Main reason being that a lot of the restaurants do close towards the late afternoon before dinner service. It's still a nice area to walk, but if you're hungry, not the best. We pretty much had 2 choices, Chinese food and pizza. We ended up picking pizza thinking it'd be a lot cheaper, but we were wrong. And to be fair, it wasn't bad pizza, it tasted pretty good. The main issue was the price. I don't mind paying $30 or maybe even $35 for a whole pizza, but something about paying about $20 for a slice that feels really painful. Also, especially because for Hirafu and Hanazono, you could probably get a whole pie for $30. After a long day of skiing, you can enjoy the amenities of the hotel. In the main lobby area, you do have a bookshelf with, yes, real books that people were reading and lots of comfortable seats. This is a great place to curl up if you're not a skier, and you can daydream while watching the snow fall down. Pretty much lo-fi girl vibes, but in real life. There also is a bar area with drinks and coffee. All of these items are going to be paid except for some free cookies. And to be fair, these were really good cookies, super tasty. If you want to relax your muscles and warm up a bit, there is a public onsen. You also can kind of replicate this experience in your room using the tub in the bathroom. Main reason for this is because the bathroom is a lot colder and you can just have hot water, and it kind of looks like it too. Awesome way to sweat out some toxins. Note that the property does not have a pool, so if that's a deal breaker, then you're out of luck. If you do want to work out, there is a small gym, bunch of machines, and also free weights. Crowding didn't seem like an issue the 2 times I went. That night, we ended up going to Sushi Nagi for their omakase. This was a super cool experience and venue behind the main dining area. You basically get to stare out at the snow rushing by while watching a master at work. Chef has been with Marriott for 10 years, and he's the one that they tap to open up new restaurants for their properties around the world. For example, he opened up a sushi restaurant for the Ritz-Carlton Reserve, Dorado Beach. Definitely a fun night, and it's really cool to learn about his background and his life. Maybe I'm weird, but I really like watching people make food, and especially sushi. If anything, this is what I watch on YouTube myself, so it's a pretty fun way to relive the experience. Given this, I will put a lot of the clips towards the back if you want to join us for dinner and watch a master at work. After a good night of sleep, we woke up for day 3 and our second day of skiing on the side of Niseko. We ended up riding up the Hilton gondola again, and this time it was surprisingly a lot less busy. From what we overheard from other people, the big reason it was super messy yesterday was because Annupuri was pretty much closed and everyone came over from over there. Once we went up to the top, we went to the Wonderland chairlift. This is the pizza box lift, which is famous or even infamous. Note that it does say experts only, but there technically are some reds up here. The big draw of this area is that there is a lot more snow, and also the incline's pretty fun. If you are looking for something more calm, then head over to Annupuri. This is awesome for beginners and also mid-levels because there's a ton of greens and reds. Top part is going to be mostly red, and then bottom is green. You pretty much have these wide open fields, and it's awesome if you are learning. If you are a bit more advanced and you want to do some backcountry runs, there are some gates. For example, I went out here and it's pretty fun, great way to learn how to navigate around trees. Also not too steep, so you're not going to deal with too much speed. Overall, a fun day of skiing and definitely emptier than the Hirafu side. After skiing a ton more, we were finally worn out and ended up going for dinner. Joanna ended up treating us to Hot Pot buffet at the Hilton. It sounded good on paper, but it's a skip in my book. I would consider myself a hot pot connoisseur, and I probably go to hot pot buffets 2 to 3 times a month. The main issue here is that the meat quality isn't really that great. Sometimes that's fine if you have other things to make up for it, but nothing really did. Back in the US, I'd probably only pay about $20 for this, and this was substantially more. If anything, I'd rather go back to the ramen restaurant because that was actually good and a fair price. After dinner, we ended up doing a few laps around the Hilton lobby. There's live music, bunch of seats, and also a fireplace, so not too bad of a vibe. It definitely is a bigger and busier hotel though, and almost feels like a mini conference hotel. Walking from Hilton to Niseko Village is about 2 minutes, and then from Niseko Village to the Ritz is about probably 5 minutes. Definitely close, and if you are looking for options outside of the Ritz, the Hilton does have a bunch of restaurants. On the morning of the last day, we ended up buying 1-day ski passes, so we bought a 5-day pass before, and this is technically our 6th day. I didn't regret it though, and I did some of my favorite runs of the trip. We started off right at the top and pretty much stuck out the black runs all morning. Lots of fun powder to ride and also paths to find and get stuck in. After doing the pizza box way too many times, we did end up working our way down, and if you are looking for something interesting, I'd recommend taking gate 11 down to Mizano no Sawa. This is an advanced ski area, but it's also a really fun ride. Also did almost see an accident here, so be careful because there are people dropping off from the sides. I definitely recommend taking the gate out here and either going down this path or under the Mori no chairlift. Probably my 2 favorite runs of the trip. Call it bad timing or maybe everything else adding up, but we were fine for late checkout, but ended up being a few minutes late for the last shuttle to the JR station. Given this, we ended up having to call our own taxi, which wasn't ideal, but it's fine. Once we were there, we had some popcorn, which wasn't that good, and then it was just a 2-hour short ride back to Sapporo with all the other skiers and snowboarders. Overall, I think this is definitely an amazing hotel in terms of the hard product, but there is room for improvement for the soft product, especially for the pre-arrival side of things. Still though, I think it is a hotel I consider coming back to, especially if the price is right, given the access to some of the best intermediate and advanced runs. For what I was looking to ski, this is the most fun of the 4 areas. I will have a more dedicated ski video where I'll show you the 4 runs and take you throughout the day. One disadvantage of the Ritz-Carlton is that hotel status doesn't really matter. Even though we have Bonvoy Platinum, that doesn't help with upgrades, and you also do not get free breakfast. To be fair though, we did know this going in, so not that big of a deal, but I know points people love free breakfast and upgrades. Still though, the food is good here, maybe a bit pricey, but I would definitely recommend going to the omakase with chef. With that said, before I do leave you with him, if you are someone that wants to learn about cards in order to do a trip like this and you want to support the channel, we do have links on the website, asksebby.com, and also down below in the description box. As always, make sure the links are competitive and that the cards make sense, otherwise it is a huge way to support the channel, so thank you guys in advance. If you made it to this point, leave a pizza emoji in the comments down below and I'll try to heart it and also respond. My question for you is, what are your thoughts on the Ritz-Carlton Reserve, and also do you ski or snowboard? Let me know and everyone else know in the comments down below. Big favor, give this a thumbs up, consider subscribing, but otherwise, hope you liked it. See you next time.
Oh! You okay? Oh.